Today you will see the exact process of making kangaroo skin jacket in factory.
The journey of a single kangaroo leather jacket is an epic tale of transformation, where raw, elemental material is guided by human ingenuity to become a timeless piece of functional art. It begins not on a factory floor, but under the vast, open skies of the Australian outback. This is a land of extremes, searing heat, bitter cold, and rugged terrain, that forges a hide of remarkable resilience. The kangaroo hide is a biological marvel. Pound for pound, it is one of the strongest and most durable leathers in the world, characterized by a fine, dense fiber structure that gives it incredible tensile strength and a uniquely soft, pliable hand feel. These inherent properties are the foundational gifts of nature, the untapped potential that will dictate the quality of the final garment. When the raw hides arrive at the factory, they are preserved in salt, stiff and board-like, bearing the earthy scent of their origin. The first contact is one of assessment and respect. Each hide is carefully unpacked, the sharp snap of steel straps giving way to the soft rustle of salted surfaces. They are individually laid out on vast inspection tables, their unique topographies revealed under the neutral, shadowless glow of specialized LED lighting. Here the initial culling occurs. Skilled inspectors, their expertise earned through decades of handling leather, perform a meticulous tactile and visual examination. Their fingers trace the grain, feeling for the subtle tells of a scar, a tick bite, or a variation in thickness that the eye might miss. This is not merely sorting, it is curation. They are identifying which hides possess the flawless character for a jacket's main panels, and which, with minor imperfections, are destined for smaller components, ensuring that every square inch of this valuable material is utilized with purpose and respect. The selected hides are then formally entered into the production ecosystem. Each one is weighed and its dimensions are meticulously recorded. A crucial step follows, the application of a unique barcode. This simple sticker is the hide's passport, its digital soul. From this moment forward, every process it undergoes, every machine it passes through will be logged and tracked. This marriage of ancient material and modern data ensures traceability, quality control, and a deep understanding of the yield at every stage. The hides, now cataloged and approved, are rolled into tight cylinders, a practical step for storage, but also a symbolic one. The boundless potential of the flat hide is now focused, ready to be channeled into a specific destiny. They are placed in organized storage racks, a library of raw potential waiting silently for the first step of its metamorphosis. The tannery is the crucible where the irreversible transformation from raw hide to stable leather occurs. It is a realm of water, chemistry, and controlled force, a place where the organic is rendered permanent. The process begins gently in the soaking pits. The stiff, salted hides are submerged in clean water, often with mild disinfectants. For many hours, they slowly rehydrate, the fibers relaxing and releasing the salt that has been their preservative companion. This is the reawakening, the necessary step to make the hide receptive to the profound changes to come. From the soaking pits, the hides enter the massive rotating stainless steel drums, the workhorses of the tannery. The first chemical baths involve lime and sulfide solutions. This liming stage swells the hide, breaks down soluble proteins, and most visibly loosens and removes the hair. It is a foundational step, stripping the hide down to its essential collagen structure. When the drums open, the hides emerge hairless, smooth and swollen, already unrecognizable from their former selves. They then move to the fleshing machine, a formidable piece of engineering where a high-speed, spiraled blade cylinder scrapes the flesh side with surgical precision, removing any remaining fat, muscle, and tissue to create a perfectly uniform thickness. The next stages are about refinement and preparation. A deliming process neutralizes the aggressive alkalis, resetting the hide's pH level. This is followed by baiting, where specific enzymes are introduced to clean and soften the fiber structure, giving the future leather its desired suppleness. Then comes pickling, a bath of salt and mild acid that lowers the pH dramatically, creating the ideal chemical environment for the main event. The pivotal moment of tanning arrives with the introduction of chromium sulfate. This vibrant blue-green compound, when tumbled with the pickled hides for hours, performs its magic. The chromium ions form permanent cross-links with the collagen fibers. This chemical marriage stabilizes the protein structure forever. The hide will no longer putrefy, it will not harden irreversibly upon drying. It has become leather, specifically wet blue leather, named for its pale, sea green hue. The newborn leather is then stabilized for the journey ahead. It is centrifuged in a hydroextractor to remove the majority of its water content, then stretched taut on perforated aluminum frames called toggles. These toggles are wheeled into temperature and humidity-controlled drying tunnels, where over 24 to 48 hours, the leather slowly and gently gives up its moisture, stabilizing in its flat, tensioned form. Once dry, it is too brittle for further work, so it enters a conditioning chamber where a fine mist reintroduces just enough moisture, a mere 2–4%, to make it pliable. This material, now known as crust leather, is the tanner's finished product. It is stable, durable, and possesses a neutral palette, ready to be imbued with color, character, and purpose. If the tannery gives the leather its soul, the dyeing and finishing department gives it its identity. This is where the pale, uniform crust leather receives its color, its texture, and its protective personality. The process is one of deep infusion, not superficial coating. The dyeing begins in yet more specialized drums. The leather is loaded, and the precisely formulated dye, a rich paste created from meticulously weighed pigments, is introduced, followed by hot water to create the dye bath. As the drum rotates, the hides tumble in this dark, rich liquid for hours, the color migrating deep into the very core of the fibers. This ensures that the hue is integral and will not fade or rub off with wear. But a jacket must not only look beautiful, it must feel beautiful and perform flawlessly. This is achieved through fat liquoring. Following the dye, special oil emulsions are added to the same drum. These oils are absorbed by the leather fibers, lubricating them from within. This process is what gives the finished kangaroo leather its legendary suppleness, its resistance to cracking, and its luxurious hand feel. Once unloaded, the leather is vibrant and supple, but the process is far from over. It undergoes rigorous quality checks, including rub fastness tests to ensure the dye's permanence. The leather then journeys through a series of finishing stages. It may be vacuum dried onto a hot plate, which simultaneously sets the color, smooths the grain, and removes moisture. To restore the softness lost in drying, it passes through a staking machine whose rapidly vibrating blunt blades work and flex the leather, breaking up stiff fibers. The surface may be lightly buffed with fine abrasives to create a uniform nap or to prepare it for a topcoat. In a spray booth, a fine mist of protective acrylic or polyurethane resin is applied, creating a barrier against water, scuffs, and stains. For some styles, the leather may pass through a final plating press, where immense pressure and heat from a mirror-polished plate impart a glass-smooth high-gloss finish. The result is no longer just leather. It is a finished material, its color deep and rich, its touch soft and waxy, its surface ready to face the world. It is graded one final time, measured for square footage, and prepared for the pattern cutter's art. The cutting room is where the two-dimensional skin becomes the blueprint for a three-dimensional garment. It is a place of geometry, economy, and vision. Each finished hide is a unique landscape, with subtle variations in shading, grain tightness, and natural markings. The pattern cutter's first task is to read this landscape, to understand its story and potential. The hide is spread grain side up on a large, flat table, and the cutter studies it, mentally mapping the placement of the jacket's major panels to avoid any minor flaws and to showcase the hide's best characteristics. The cutting itself is guided by a marker, a large paper sheet printed with the outlines of every pattern piece. Fronts, backs, sleeves, collar, pockets, nested together with computer-aided efficiency to minimize waste. This marker is laid over the hide, a paper ghost of the future jacket. For the main panels, the powerful hydraulic clicker press is employed. Steel dies, custom-shaped for each component, are positioned on the hide and, with a deep, resonant thump, the press drives them through the leather, producing a perfectly clean cut. The rhythm is methodical and efficient. For more delicate or intricate parts, or for smaller components nested into the leftover hide, skilled cutters may use a sharp, round knife, guiding it by hand with unwavering confidence and precision. As the pieces are cut, they are carefully removed from the carcass of the hide, which now resembles a complex jigsaw puzzle with its pieces removed. The panels are sorted and stacked by type and size. But before they can move to assembly, each one must pass a final, rigorous inspection. They are examined on backlit tables where the strong light from beneath reveals hidden flaws, thin spots, scars, or vein marks that are invisible under normal light. Inspectors wearing white gloves run their hands over every surface, feeling for consistency. They are sorted into shade lots to ensure that every panel that goes into a single jacket is a perfect visual match. Only then are all the components for one jacket, the main panels, sleeves, collar, and all small parts, bundled together into a kit. This kit represents a promise that all these pieces, born from the same hide, will come together in perfect harmony. The sewing floor is a symphony of coordinated motion, where the separate pieces of the puzzle are united into a whole. The atmosphere hums with the sound of specialized industrial machinery and the focused energy of highly skilled artisans. Each workstation is a stage in a carefully choreographed assembly line. The process begins with preparation. The edges of the Kangaroo-Leather panels are skived or shaved to a taper, reducing bulk so that seams will lie flat and comfortable against the body. Critical seam allowances are reinforced with bias tape to prevent the flexible hide from stretching during sewing or wear. The construction of the jacket shell follows a logical sequence. The shoulder seams are joined first, connecting the front and back panels. Then comes one of the most skilled operations, setting the sleeves. The crown of the sleeve, with its inherent fullness, must be meticulously eased into the armhole without a single pucker or pleat. This requires a deep understanding of how the leather will behave under the needle of the walking foot machine, a specialized piece of equipment that grips the leather from both the top and bottom, ensuring the layers feed evenly without shifting. After each seam is sewn, it is trimmed, notched where necessary on curves, and then tapped firmly with a wooden mallet to set the stitches and flatten the seam allowance perfectly. Parallel to the shell construction, the lining is assembled as a separate, lightweight garment. Meanwhile, the details that define the jacket's character are meticulously crafted. The collar is built from multiple layers of leather and stiffener, sewn, turned, and pressed to a sharp, defined shape. Pocket flaps are created, top-stitched for definition, and then carefully attached. The main zipper is aligned with absolute precision and stitched into place with parallel rows of flawless stitching. A hallmark of quality leatherwork is edge painting, where the raw-cut edges of the leather are carefully painted and sealed with a colored resin, giving a polished, durable finish and preventing delamination. The final act of assembly is a moment of minor magic. The leather shell is turned inside out and the lining, right side out, is slipped over it. The two are joined around their entire perimeter, hem, fronts, and neckline, in one continuous seam. Then, through a small left-open section in the lining, the entire jacket is pulled through, turning it right side out. In this moment, the jacket reveals itself in its complete form for the very first time. The lining opening is hand-stitched closed with invisible stitches, and a final press over a custom-shaped buck gives the jacket its crisp, retail-ready silhouette. Before a jacket can bear the company's name, it must pass the most unforgiving gatekeepers, the final inspectors. This is a quality control process that borders on the obsessive. Under the brightest, most critical lighting, every single aspect of the jacket is scrutinized. The hang and drape are assessed on a mannequin. The symmetry of the pockets is verified with measuring tapes. Every stitch is examined for consistency and tension. Zippers are opened and closed repeatedly to test for flawless operation. Snaps and buttons are subjected to a pull test to ensure they are riveted securely. The inspector's senses are fully engaged. They listen for the smooth, quiet glide of a zipper. They feel for any internal irregularities. They even check for any residual chemical odor, ensuring the jacket smells only of high-quality leather. A simple water test confirms the effectiveness of the protective finish, a droplet beating up on the surface. Any jacket that fails to meet the absolute standard is removed, its brand label cut out, destined to be sold as a second or dismantled for parts. This ruthless editing is what guarantees the integrity of the brand. The jackets that pass this trial by scrutiny are almost complete. They receive their identity at the heat branding station. A custom-made, brass die is heated to an exact temperature and then pressed into the leather, often inside the jacket, for a precise duration. It lifts away to reveal a crisp, deeply debossed logo, a permanent and subtle mark of authenticity. A woven care label and a numbered metal authenticity tag are attached, finalizing its provenance. The packaging is a ritual that honors the craftsmanship within. The jacket is carefully folded into acid-free tissue paper to protect its surface. It is placed in a sturdy, custom-designed box, often accompanied by a heavyweight certificate of authenticity and a care booklet. This presentation is the final communication of value, the bridge between the factory and the customer's home. The sealed boxes are stacked on pallets, wrapped in plastic for protection and loaded onto trucks. As they depart the factory, each jacket carries with it the essence of the outback, the precision of science, the skill of human hands, and the promise of a legacy that will endure for decades. The journey from raw hide to refined companion is complete. But the journey doesn't end with assembly. The final quality control process represents the most rigorous examination of all. Each jacket undergoes what we call the white glove treatment. Inspectors with decades of experience examine every seam under magnifying lamps, searching for inconsistencies invisible to the naked eye. They measure stitch density with precision gauges, ensuring every inch contains exactly 8 stitches, no more, no less. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about structural integrity. The tension of every thread is tested, ensuring uniform strength throughout the garment. The functional testing is equally thorough. Zippers are opened and closed precisely 500 times, simulating years of use in mere minutes. Snap fasteners undergo pull tests with calibrated instruments, guaranteeing they can withstand forces far beyond normal daily stress. Even the pockets are tested for capacity and stress points, with weighted objects being inserted and removed repeatedly to ensure seam durability. This relentless testing might seem excessive, but it's what separates a mass-produced garment from a legacy piece. The final branding process is a ceremony in itself. The heat press is calibrated to the exact temperature needed for Kangaroo-Leather, a precise 180 degrees Celsius. The brass die, hand-polished before each application, makes contact for exactly 3 seconds. This creates a perfect debossed mark that penetrates just deep enough to be permanent, but not so deep as to compromise the leather's integrity. The scent of gently heated leather fills the air during this process, a signature aroma of quality craftsmanship. Packaging becomes an art form at this stage. Each jacket is wrapped in pH-neutral tissue paper, specifically chosen to prevent any chemical reaction with the leather over time. The custom boxes are constructed with double-walled cardboard and feature special moisture-resistant barriers. The included care kit contains not just instructions, but specialized cleaning tools and conditioners formulated specifically for Kangaroo-Leather's unique properties. The attention to detail extends even to the documentation. Each certificate of authenticity is numbered using a proprietary ink that reacts under ultraviolet light, providing an additional layer of verification against counterfeiting. The owner's manual includes not just care instructions, but the story of the specific hide used, where it originated, when it was tanned, and the name of the master craftsman who performed the final inspection. This comprehensive approach ensures that when a customer receives their jacket, they're not just getting a product, they're receiving a piece of documented excellence, a garment that has passed through dozens of hands and hundreds of quality checks. It represents the culmination of generations of knowledge, state-of-the-art technology, and an uncompromising commitment to perfection that defines true luxury craftsmanship in the modern age.